Hi Stitchy friends, welcome to my Flosstube number 22. I can't believe we're in the 20s already, but this is Vermont Stitchy Co. I am Chelsea. I am the owner, creator, pattern designer of Vermont Stitchy Co. All my cross stitches are done by me, so welcome. I hope you had a nice Labor Day weekend. I worked most of the weekend, but then I took Monday off and I did a whole heap of nothing, which was really lovely. I think I took a nap at one point because I love naps. Yeah, I think that's all I did. Anyways, so I'm here today to share my fully finished object, FFO, and that's now on my Etsy shop. I'm so sorry about the glare. I'm trying to get it right, but it is what it is. And I want to show you my first ever cross stitch that I designed. It's not on my Etsy shop because I actually don't like it. I think it's crap. So I just have it for me. I keep it. And because we're getting into that, well, at least in Vermont, we're getting into that kind of fall weather right now, kind of, you know, it's starting to cool down, especially at nights. We're in the 50s at nights. During the days, we're in about mid 70s to high 70s, which is my ideal and perfect temperature that I love. And I love cold nights. I sleep the best in cold nights. So I've changed most of my decor around the house. This is my office, so most of this stays the same. I have changed, this is the place where I really changed my things. Besides, that's my rocking chair that I sit in, so I've changed this. This is a quilt that I actually pieced together myself. It is not my pattern. You can find it online. It's like a moose pattern, but I put this together. It's one of my first ones. And then I did make a Andy Warhol style 4 moose, all in different colorways, and my cousin said she liked it, so she bought it off of me, so she has it. Hopefully she still has it. I don't know. Whatever she wants to do with it is fine. So I normally change that, my chair, and then what's on here normally gets changed with the seasons. So I do have some Halloween specific quilts that'll go up on my day bed, but for right now it's more like this in between autumny fall, not quite Halloween, but little touches of Halloween for my quilts and for my cross stitch patterns. So the first thing I want to show you today, and if you're new, welcome. If I didn't say that before, welcome. You know, sit down, get some cross stitching or crafty stuff in your hands, and we'll get going. But the first thing I want to show you is what's actually on my Etsy page right now, the new release that I just put out this week on Monday, which was Labor Day. It's this one here. It's fully finished. So we've got a transition of pumpkins, because pumpkins do start off green and they transition to orange, which I thought was really fun. And for whatever reason, I like the combination of the pumpkins and a sheep. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I think of fall and sheep and getting wool and stuff, so I thought they were cute. And it says autumn is proof that change is beautiful. In the pattern that I designed, everything is one color, all the written stuff is one color, but for me, I got some variegated floss and did change in that variegated color, and then beautiful in the variegated color. And it's not coming across, at least on my end, but the leaves do transition from like a yellow to a kind of light peachy orange. It's 2 different flosses that I did there. That is in the pattern. But for whatever reason on screen it's not coming off, but in person it is. And then I've got it in a hoop, which you see I love. I like that style. I think it's classic, I think it's timeless, and I think it's sleek. And then up here I've hot glued a bunch of fake leaves and a fake pumpkin. I don't have anything attached. You see my back is messy, it's okay, but I don't have anything attached to hang it, so this is one that's just gonna lean, and it's been leaning against something downstairs, so If you want to hang it, you would attach something if you're doing it in a hoop, but I chose not to. And I could have gone overboard, you know, and put a bunch of leaves down here and leaves on the side. I chose not to. I actually don't have, so that big box of flowers that I have, it's all more spring and summery colors. With, I can get away with some Christmas stuff because there's whites and greens and reds, but I don't have a lot of yellow and orange in that big box of, or big container of flowers. So this is just something I had left over from one of my little picks that I had that I used last year to decorate the house. And I thought, I don't really like it as a pick, it doesn't look good, so good, so I ripped the leaves off and just made this instead. And I think this looks really, really nice. It draws the eye in and then it forces you to read it, so I really enjoy it. I think it's nice. And hopefully I'll like it again next year when I pull it out and they'll like the leaves and design. And if I don't, I can just rip them off because it's hot glue and choose something different. So that's nice. So let me show you now the first ever pattern that I designed myself with the pattern maker that I have. You just Google Floss Cross. That's the design company name, Floss Cross, all one word. And it makes pattern. You put everything in and it'll transfer it to a PDF or export it to a PDF. There are other things you can export it to, different things. I choose PDF because I sell my stuff on Etsy and I want the patterns to be accessible. But this is the first one I ever did, and you can see I've got a backing. I tried to do the style of what is their name? The Real Housewives of Cross Stitch, Chelsea and Priscilla. They do beautiful layering, and I am just not precise enough. They are so amazing at it, and if you like this style, definitely check out their Stitching with the Housewives. They've got a wonderful YouTube channel, and they also sell patterns on Etsy. If you haven't seen them already, definitely check them out. They're absolutely wonderful in terms of human beings, and their patterns are amazing. But so I tried this, and guys, real talk, I didn't have anything to hold it up. This is just cardboard, so I just hot glued this little piece of cardboard, and it leans pretty well. So you know, it does what it needs to do. But real talk, this is just what I did. And it is not the best in terms of quality, but I've drawn out something similar-ish to this that I'd like to get stitched up. Not exactly this, a more updated, it's just a prettier version of this. But I keep this around because this is my first one I ever did. I have another one downstairs that I'll pull out for the next video that is more fall themed. This is obviously very Halloween themed. The other one is more fall themed, but I don't have that one either because that was my second one, and it just didn't come out in terms the way I wanted it to with the pattern. But I love them so much because it shows how far I've come. I mean, this compared to that, I mean, it's just night and day. But I have to keep this around, and I think I have it drawn out. I think I'll update it, but I just have to. It's just so pretty. And it shows how far I've come. And I think that way about quilting too. I have my first ever quilt that I ever made, and it was really bad. But I keep it because, and I actually sleep on it on top of my pillow. I have a water pillow, and so putting a pillowcase around it is difficult, so I just wash the quilt itself. But I love it. I think it shows progress, and sometimes you need that every once in a while. So this is the first one I ever did, and you know, it is what it is. And then this one might be, this one is on my Etsy shop. The pattern is on my Etsy shop. I really like it. And this is put in a busted canvas. This was like a big, I use that word term loosely, like a YouTube sensation or whatever. Like a bunch of people were doing it last year, 2024, late 2023, all of 2024. I kept seeing crafty people doing busted canvas. So this is fabric that I Mod Podged on top. This is also a wood grain fabric that I have Mod Podged on the back or the underside of a canvas. This is a canvas with a thick wood around it, so it's kind of a fabric-y, it moves, it gives, it's not a solid canvas, like it's not one of those flat ones. This is on a wood, I don't know what you call it. Anyways, and then I Mod Podged the front and the back and put the fabric on. Then I let it dry. It takes about a day to dry. Then I cut it to make this kind of flower explosion look. And I also put this on the back, guys, a hair tie, hot glued down, makes a wonderful hook. Do it. It makes a wonderful hook if you need something last minute. But this backing bit is a hard, flat piece of canvas that I put, I don't know if you can see, I did Mod Podge fabric onto that as well. So any gaps, it's not plain white. There's a fabric in the theme. So I have a quilt made out of this fabric here that's downstairs, and that's more Halloween themed. And it has the bats, and then this is from a Christmas quilt that I made. But I think it looks so nice, and it draws the eye in, and this pattern is on my Etsy shop. Like I said before, it is in a square, so I have a square outline which you can't really see because of the busted aspect, but you can see from the side here there's a little mouse, which is harder to see, but I mean you get a little bit of it. There's a cat in a box with bat wings. There's a ball of yarn down here. So you don't have to do a busted canvas if you don't want to. I do like them quite a bit, but the problem with them, and I'm looking at it now in my love of the hoop, I might do a busted canvas with a hoop inside instead of, this is just a piece of cardboard and this is wrapped around the cardboard and hot glued down. So it's not as crisp as I would like. It's not as sharp as I would like. But because I like hoops so much, I might play around with using the busted canvas look with a hoop inside to make it clean, and perhaps that would be better. I'd still have to use, I think, this hard, flat canvas and hot glue the hoop onto this canvas. So, you know, that might be something that I could practice. Oh, hello. I have a cat in here. That might be something that I could practice and see. But I like this one. This, again, this pattern is on my Etsy shop. And then the last one I want to show you are for those who maybe want to get into cross stitching, but you're not sure where to start. And so this is where I started. Now, people have a lot of thoughts on printed cross stitch kits that you can buy. They're wonderful. I think they're wonderful, and for beginner, I was a beginner and I started, I've said it before, it took like a full year of me using these printed, stamped cross stitch kits for me to understand how to cross stitch and to find a rhythm and to find my own style of what I like. My cat is trying to get into this closet, so if you hear some noises, that's him. So I bought this, I think in 2023. Guys, he's trying so hard. Jumping is not his skill set. So this is a stamped cross stitch kit. So stamped, he failed. Stamped means that the pattern is printed onto this happens to be 14 count Aida. You can get it whatever size. And it's stamped on this 14 count Aida. And you, like paint by numbers, it's cross stitching by colors basically. And they give you all the fabric, the DMC floss, they give you needles, and you just fill everything in. You soak it in water. The paint bit, once you're done, you soak it in water, and the printed stuff on the back falls away, and you get this. Now, some people have very strong feelings, you shouldn't do it. You know, it takes other people's designs and they're making money off it. I can't speak to that. I don't know. But if you're brand new and a beginner, I do think this is a great way to learn how to cross stitch. I really do. I stand by that, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Good Lord, he cannot. Now he got mad and ran away. So I do highly recommend. So this is, it's really simple. It says autumn. Again, I was trying to do that stitching with the housewives, and Fat Quarter Shop does this too, but I don't and didn't have the money to be able to do sticky board. So this is just cardboard that I had, literally Amazon packages, or the Chewy boxes that I get for my cat stuff. Used a knife and cut it up and did that. But so it's not as clean as I would like, but I did do some poofy, they're not pom-pom balls, but they're from a pick of something. I'm not quite sure what, but just an autumn or fall pick. Did them in both the corners, and it is what it is. I'm not going to get rid of it. If I really hate it in a few years, maybe I'll redo the back because it's a little bent, as you can see from being stored improperly. It is what it is. It's cardboard. It's gonna not be perfect. But this goes right in here to kind of brighten up the space. So if you're new to cross stitch, you can get them this is quite a large size, but you can get smaller ones too that are, you know, this size or whatever size you want that are stamped. Look for stamped cross stitch kits. Stamped has the pattern on it. If you do counted cross stitch kits, counted is what I now make because now I understand what counted means, but it just means you have to count out the holes and then count how many stitches you're doing. So that can be more complicated, as it was for me as a brand new person. I didn't understand counted. So it took about a year for me to feel confident enough doing these to start doing my own, and then another year or half a year for me to go, oh, I got this. I want to make my own patterns because I can't find the things that match my aesthetic or the things that I want to cross stitch. So that's when I started doing mine with this very bad one that I made. But again, I did it, stepped out of my comfort zone, and now I'm gonna redo it to make it more modern and just better. So that's that. And then lastly, I want to show off, as I was talking about, like, you know, I have this quilt, I have other quilts around the house. 2023, and I like to do things that match me and my style. I really like, and I've said it before, I think on this channel, I like applique quilts. I think they're fun, and I can let my artistic side shine in that way. I can make it my own, use the colors that I want. There are applique kits, there are pre-fusible designs if you want. You know, Shabby Fabrics has them. That's a quilting shop online. Missouri Star Quilt Company, also online. Fat Quarter Shop, I believe, also sells fusible applique shapes. I'm not quite sure on that one. Double check. But you can make your own. If you're like, I don't see what I want, or I don't need as much as what they're selling, you can make your own. You buy the fusible heat and bond light and make your own shapes, draw them out, whatever. So I did that for this kind of weird autumn, fall, not quite Halloween, and something to take me through. And I hang this up. This is a full applique. I'd say it's 2.5 by 2.5 feet wide. So I did this myself, trying to get the shapes that I like for fall. So again, it's not quite Halloween, although there are some Halloween things that will take me through Halloween, but it also works right now, and it can work all the way through till when I change over for Christmas. That's right after Thanksgiving. I switch, like the day after Thanksgiving, I switch everything over to Christmas, much to my husband's chagrin. He does not like Christmas decorations. He also just doesn't like fall decorations, but I put them up because I love the change of seasons. And there's nothing on the back. It's just, I forgot to put a date, so I think this is 2023. But I did it because I wanted something that I made that could use my artistic style. I hang it up, but I don't have to hang it up. I could have thrown it right on my chair and then put the moose in my, hang up the moose. The moose also I put up in the January, the wintry time, because it's a moose and it can be for both. It can be winter and fall. So I'll probably put him away once Halloween comes and have something thrown over the back of my chair for specifically Halloween. So yeah, I really, really like it. It's really nice, and it's a great way to make things your own, just like with cross stitching. If you don't like the colors for Autumn is Proof that Change is Beautiful, you don't have to use these colors. That's a beautiful thing of quilting and cross stitching. You make it your own. You match your decor to this. If Beautiful and Change is not where you want well, I use variegated thread, but maybe you have a color that matches your decor. You can make Change is Beautiful all one color. You can make Autumn Pop instead, Autumn and Just Beautiful, or Autumn and Change, whatever you want. That's the lovely thing about it. I designed it with one matte green in mind, but I made it my own to match my decor, to kind of get that browny reds color, but you can make it your own, and I really enjoy it. So those are all the things that I have in terms of finished. I've got a new one I'm working on, and it's going to be what I'm calling an autumn checklist. So it's 4 by 4 squares, and within it there'll be little images of things that are autumny. And this is 14 count Aida. I did tea dye this. It's not perfect, but it has, in person it has a mottled kind of marble look. It's not, I don't think it's coming off on the camera, but in person it does. So I'll have things like a leaf, an owl, an apple, because it's kind of fall-y. Green apple, I think with caramel might be one of them. But they're all really, really small images. And the great thing about this is that you can make them all, I'm making them all in these rows. They're going to be really nice in these rows. But when you're finished, because they're given spaces, there'll be flat leaves in between. You can choose to just do what's in the boxes and then cut these out and make little ornaments of them. And like there's this little middle tree is black, and when you turn it on it has orange lights. You can make little ornaments and then hang them on something like that, like a little tree. Or maybe you have a black Christmas tree for Halloween-y fall time, which I would love to do. I'd love to have a black Christmas tree with purple lights that I can just have in my house for this time of year. My husband would kill me, but I want one. And you can put little ornaments on them. So you could make these into little ornaments if you so choose. If you don't want to, you can just have them like this, put it in a frame, put it in a hoop, whatever you want to do. So those are my new things. So I'll give a little life update. If you're done, you can pause here. It'll just be a life update. But spider bites are all healed, not a recluse or a black widow. So happy about that, because we don't really have those two here in southern Vermont, but they are occasionally seen. So I was happy that I did not get bit by either one of those, because that would have been bad news bears. And I would have had to go to the hospital. But it did take 2 weeks for them to heal. I think I'm allergic to spider bites, because I got really swollen. It was right on my hips, really swollen, really painful. Not really painful, but enough to be like, oh, my hip is sore. And yeah, so now I'm gonna have scars for sure. And let's see, I got so I had blood work a few weeks ago, got a high cholesterol, met with a nutritionist. I had to change my diet completely. I'm a bread girl. I love bread. Raise your hand if you're a bread girl or bread person. I love bread, but unfortunately I've been eating too much bread, So I have to switch my diet to have a little bit of bread and a lot more veggies. So I've been trying to do that, and it's been really successful so far. I'm also allergic to meat, which I have had what I call hot flashes since I was 27 years old after I eat meat. But it only happens at night, which is really odd. Hence why I thought they were hot flashes. And it's actually like a histamine reaction, she thinks. And so basically I'm allergic to meat, but fish is fine. So I've been eating a lot of salmon. I'm gonna try my hand at making some cod. I'm a little nervous about making cod, but I'm gonna try. And then I've got some more blood work coming up because I have endometriosis, ? If you know anything about endometriosis, there's very few ways to tell that you have endometriosis besides the pain, the unbearable pain. And so we got more blood work for that to see what we can figure out about my hormones and what's going on there, and maybe we can manage the pain, because that's really all that can be done at this point in time. So yeah, I have some Ayurvedic medicine that I got in India from my mother-in-law's brother, who is a doctor, both Western medicine and Ayurvedic, and it's been helping immensely with the pain. There was one day 2 weeks ago where I only had a little bit of the medicine, the Ayurvedic medicine, and boy did that pain come back 10 times to the point where I was vomiting. It was so painful, and it takes a lot for me to have to vomit or want to faint, and so yeah, that was no fun. But things are moving, things are trucking along. We went down to Pennsylvania. My husband and I went down to Pennsylvania 2 weeks ago for my sister-in-law's baby shower. So we drove down 6.5 hours, got a really bad sunburn on one side of my body because we were hit so much traffic and the sun was really hot. I don't have AC in my car. I don't think it's a big deal. I live in Vermont. It's already fall time. I don't need AC for 2 months of the year. I just don't care. And so my husband was not happy about that though, but we had the windows down. We were there for one night and left right after the baby shower because it's 6 hours drive back home, and our hips were hurting, our backs were hurting, and my husband now has been in quite a bit of pain for the past 2 weeks because he has sciatica and 2 slipped discs, and so he's trying to manage that as well. And but overall, yeah, good times. I've been cross-stitching a lot. I've been quilting. I'm making progress on that cat quilt that I showed you a couple weeks ago. I've got them all cut up. Now it's just sewing the pieces together, which I like to do, like I've told you before, I like to sit down and do for like 5 or 8 hours, not 8, but like 5 hours straight of just having nothing else to do and focus on that. So I've been doing little bits here and there, but it's gonna take probably another week or so before I can even get all the squares put together. And then I'll have to then sew those squares together to make the finished top. So we'll see how big it is. It started off 10-inch squares, but I cut it down to 9-inch squares to get them all the same size. And then once you cut them up and sew them back together again, it shrinks down even more. So I think the total size will be from 10 to about 8 inches in terms of each square. So we'll see how that goes. But we're almost at 30 minutes, so I am going to let you go for the day. Thank you for joining me. If you stuck it out this far, I really appreciate it. But thank you for taking the time, stopping in, seeing my video. I hope you got to get some cross-stitching in over the Labor Day weekend and do something fun for yourself, crafty-wise. And I will see you all in 2 more weeks. Have a wonderful day. If you like what I'm showing and want to see more content, please leave a thumbs up, a like. It really helps my videos reach more of an audience. It helps me know that you like what I'm doing. And if you want to leave a comment, I always comment back. So have a great day. Have a nice 2 weeks. Get some good crafting in. Bye.